Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, and welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. I'm so excited to be back this week to our show that introduces you to your favorite author and their work. And we pair that with our favorite wine or spirit. So we're excited to be with you again to introduce you to a phenomenal individual who is a part of a great work. So if you've been with us before, welcome back. If this is your first time, you're in for a treat. But we invite both of you guys to share. We want to grow this audience. And so Books and Bottles can come to your TV screen. So stay tuned for that. So today we have another great addition to our family. Actually, this person is family, and she's been with us before. So if you've been a longtime fan of Books and Bottles, you know that faith, failure, success is a part of what we do. This is volume 4 that we're going to introduce to you today. And of course, my computer just failed. But volume 4 is called I Am, I Can, I Will. And so today we have one of the authors with us, and this is Miss Jamie Gill. Yay!
Hello, Sister Benita. Hello. How are you?
Hello. So, things go crazy, but it's okay because we keep moving, right?
Okay.
My computer just died. It's doing its own thing over here. The
That's why
light
we
on
have
the camera.
bottles. That's okay.
It's all good. Look, I got my phone. If I got to put the light on the phone because the light just went out on the camera, it's all good. We're gonna keep
It's
moving. How
okay.
you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I cannot complain, and that's not what this show is about, even if I wanted to. So.
That's right. So, faith, failure, success. It's just a series of books. This is volume 4.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
a series of books that talks to different individuals about how we overcome just
That's
the everyday obstacle. Well, most of them are everyday
Mhm,
obstacles, but
mhm.
some of them are seemingly insurmountable obstacles that we have to use our faith to be able to walk over, right?
Yes, that's very
So,
true. And here's a little secret. I am a fan of the Faith, Failure, Success, right? The
yeah.
series,
Uh-huh.
people that I know or did not know, I have them all, right? And I always wanted to be a part of it, but I was like,
Okay.
no, Jamie, you're not going to ask. Just sit back and let other people be authors too, right? And I am an avid reader, being an author, and I've always been an avid reader. And so when I got the call from Glenn and 220 Publishing that they wanted me to be a part of the finale, right? I was definitely fangirling. So it's kind of like, having your favorite superstar and then they ask you to be in a movie with them. That's literally how I felt. So it was an honor to be a part of this book, but it was also a struggle. So
Okay. Tell us
yeah.
about that struggle. You can't just
So
leave it at that and think we ain't delving into that.
so every book to me is like giving birth to a child. And you know but unlike being a parent, you kind of get to choose your child, right? You can't, as
Hmm.
a parent, you don't know if you're having a boy or girl.
Right.
And this particular book, when I found out that the title was I Am, I Can, I Will, I knew immediately what I had to write about. And I did not know if I was ready to talk about it.
Okay.
And so
So
my
when you
child,
say you weren't ready, was it something like a little challenging or just something that you didn't think you were going to share?
both.
Okay.
So
Okay.
without telling the whole story, because we want people to buy the book,
Absolutely.
I am a woman who is not married and doesn't have any children. And uh, I had gotten to a place, I had recently had a surgery. Actually, when I was asked to write a book, this was before the surgery. So this was pre-surgery. I had to come to some life decisions, and not just for my life and my health, but also for my mentality and perspective. And so I was excited to write this book because one of the things that I tell people all the time is that as a woman, I'm constantly asked, "Oh, are you married? Oh, do you want to get married? Oh, where's your kids? Oh, how many kids do you want to have? How come you don't have kids?" And as a young person, that used to be a compliment, but as I began to get older, it began to bother me because
Okay.
nobody asked me, Jamie, have you graduated from college? Do you have a degree? Jamie, do you plan on doing any community service work, or do you have any philanthropic efforts? And so I began to recognize that when people were, meeting me or talking to me, it was as if those were the only things that mattered, was if I was married or if I had kids. And
Okay.
I came to be on this personal mission to allow women to know that you are more than that.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with being a wife, nothing wrong with being a mother. I pay homage to both assignments, but I really want to challenge young women specifically to really, as they're journeying through their life and they're pursuing and making their life goals, to really consider, is that A, something that they want, or B, and here's the tough one, is that their assignment?
Yes.
And
That's
that was
huge.
what I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure if I was ready to talk about that because that can be a very sensitive topic for people.
Yeah.
I did a women's retreat years ago in Chicago where I challenged the women and I asked them, I said, everybody, the name of the workshop was called Single and Saved. Um, and I asked, I said, I don't know if a lot of you want to be in here. And they all look, because I said, I see it in your faces. You're ready to hear the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s on how to get a husband. I said, but what if
Yes.
that's not your assignment?
Hmm.
And that's not,
Everybody isn't, it's like I've been a wife. I am a mother.
mm-hmm,
I am a whole lot of other things,
mm-hmm,
but I think you have two sets of people who are looking at us in
yes,
fishbowls. And
mm-hmm,
those people either look at us as what we do or
mm-hmm,
who we are, right? So
yes,
you have some people, they want the first thing to know, what do you do?
that's right,
And
that's
what
right,
I do has very little to it does very little to define who I am. I
that's
do what
right.
I do. And
I
so
do what I do. That's right.
I do what I do. I make this work, right?
Yeah,
And
that's right.
so, but I think, what we as women have to not do, get lost in what other people, how
That's
they
right.
want to define us,
That's right. That's right. And it's
you
not
know?
an easy road. And like I say it in the book, and I will say it, I am a huge advocate for marriage and motherhood. Because if my mother hadn't have been married or a mother, I mean married or had children, I wouldn't be here, right?
You're right.
So I think it's beautiful. I love love. I love black love. I love, interracial. I love love. I love it. I
Yeah.
see it. I've been, at my best friend's wedding, her photographer told me, you're outworking me. Like I need you. I took over 600 pictures on my phone of my best friend of
Because
40
you are
years.
kind of extra.
Yeah, I am. Especially when it comes to pictures and videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, my phone is about to blow up as we speak. I need to download. But anyway, um, so I love it. I love it. I'm a supporter of it. I think it's great. I've been engaged twice. So, but at the end of the day, I had to finally get to a place in my life where I had to stop and say, God, is that my assignment? And that wasn't an easy space because you're looking at a girl who grew up wanting the story of meeting my high school sweetheart, getting married right after college, having 6 kids, being a stay-at-home mom, having the lunches ready like the Brady Bunch on the counter
Yeah.
with my husband's briefcase on the end. Like that
Yeah.
was
Ready to
my
go.
dream. That was my dream.
Yeah.
And so to then stop and ask and have to ask myself, but is that God's dream for you?
Hmm.
And is that position, and this is going to challenge people too. You can choose that could happen for you, but is that the ultimate life that God has for you? That may be the good life, but is that the great life
Yeah.
that God
That's
has?
what you need to do. That's what you want to do now. But there is something down
Yeah.
the pike. And so I kind of I definitely believe what you're saying. And I do think that I think God wants us to be happy and he wants the best for us.
Hmm.
And so if these things that we say we want this husband and these kids, if that's the best for us, he wants that for us too. And
That's right.
sometimes the partner that we think is the person for us,
Mhm.
God's like, nah, they ain't the one I picked for you.
But
Right?
you can have it if you want it.
Yeah, that's what you want, but that ain't the one
That's
I
what you
picked for
want.
you. But if that's what you want to go down that dark alley, girl, go ahead. I'm gonna protect you,
I'll
but I'm gonna let
protect
you
you.
go down
But
there. So
go
I
ahead.
think right. So I think he wants what we want, but he wants us to have it in a nice, pretty package. I do think that.
Yeah, I think there's just always, I always say, is this the good way or the God way? The Bible speaks about,
Mm.
everything that's
You need to put that on
permissible
the T-shirt, the good way, the God way.
or the
That's
God
that's
way.
definitely the truth.
And that's really something that I challenge myself. And the Bible talks about everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Like I can do whatever I want to do, literally, as an adult, as a person who
Sure.
makes her own money and is independent. Like I could do whatever I want to do. But is it beneficial for me to do all the things that I quote unquote want to do? And so
Yeah.
my wants began to change. And that's what I talk about in Faith Failure Successes, really just aligning my life up to really and alignment is really was my word for the year, of being in alignment to what God wants for me. Whether that is marriage or whether that is children, whether that is just being an international author, right? Whatever
Yeah.
it is, it's just aligning and getting this picture out of my head. I used to be so focused on having this corner office, in a high rise and in the city, and being the boss chick in the traditional fashion of what we saw boss chicks are. But like, I want to
Right.
be my own version of a boss chick. And so if
Yeah.
that means living in Daytona Beach and not New York City, then I want to be that boss chick.
Be
If
the
it's
boss of Daytona Beach, right?
right? If it means taking the best care of my mom and writing books every year and being able to meet great people like the people that come on your show, and just and just really having a very fulfilled life, but adding light and joy everywhere I go, if that's my assignment, that's what I want to do. I don't want anybody else's life. I only want mine.
Absolutely. So I want to give a shout out to the other authors who are
Yes,
part
please do.
of this book with you. To put my glasses on so I can read. Jay Allison, Lionel Hilaire, my good friend and executive producer of this show, Keisha Rose, and
Yes,
Tommy Don Talley Jr.
that's
Um,
right.
I understand because I was a part of volume 3. I
Mhm,
do understand, that writing these books, like sometimes people buy these books and they're not as thick as they want them to be.
mhm,
But
mhm,
you have to understand that those contributing,
mhm.
we're adding a piece of us, right? And so we are multi-layer. We're like an onion. And
That's right.
so in this book,
That's
if we
right.
wrote about all the layers, we'll be still writing and we'll be writing until the time we take our last breath.
That's
And so
right.
we're giving you a piece of a layer, and that's all we can. And so we're giving enough to hopefully inspire you.
Yeah.
So in your process in contributing to Faith, Failure, Success, Volume 3, I Am, I Can, I Will. How was that? Like, because you had to pull apart a layer of your onion and drop it in this book.
Well, and here's the crazy part. So it started, I told you, pre-surgery. And then I
Okay.
had surgery, and I ended up having, on February 7th, I ended up having a full hysterectomy, which was 2 months after I had another major surgery. And so I'm going through as I'm writing this chapter. And
Yeah.
so as I'm writing it, and just for the record, let me add this in. I'm I'm totally okay about having the surgery, because I know that becomes an immediate question, like, oh my God, is she sad about the surgery? No, it was just a pace, it was a come to Jesus moment for me. There's one thing not to have children, but then not to be able to is
Yeah.
another thing, right? And so
Yeah.
it was a place of peace, because I have been having health issues for over 10 years. And at this point, it was about quality of life for me. And it was some life, it was really some life or death questions, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. And so I had to go back and edit what I wrote because I think that sometimes, even as a person who has, this was not my first published work, so I've written before, I understand that vulnerability aspect, but sometimes we just don't want to be all naked to the world, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And because I'm a pretty private person, I'm a very social person, and I talk to, but my private life is my private life. But what God was dealing with me in that moment was you go through to help other people through. And
Yeah.
so for me, it became very assignment driven, because I knew the place where I had been in those various moments of my life of wanting children and deciding if I should have them, or deciding, I had been through this before. This has been a long 10-year journey. And for me, and so for some people, they don't have 10 years. It's an immediate, or it's something that happens to them like pretty quickly, or it's cancer, or it's something, it's some other things. Thank God that that wasn't, my particular situation. But for me, I had to realize that when I give myself permission to be more honest, then I'm helping people on their healing journey too. And even
Yeah.
if it's not because I have the answer, I'm giving perspective. And I really believe that that's what I'm here on this earth to do, is to help people to enhance their perspectives about their situations. So it then became like a superpower, like I have to do this, I have to save the people, I have to help the women. And so a nurse friend, I give a shout out to my one of my I used to work at a hospital in the emergency room, and one of my favorite nurses, Nurse Judy, she says this chapter, because I let her kind of edit to say, does that sound right, is that good? And she said,
Yeah.
it makes me want to know more. I want to know more. And so this is a great preview for all people's stories, and not just the ones that are in this book, but to recognize, I think that the Faith Failure Success series is a good reminder to you that there is more to a person's story than you realize.
Oh,
And
I do agree, because sometimes we're out here and
yeah.
we're just I don't want to say faking, but we're putting forth our best efforts
Mm-hmm.
to show this bright and
Mm-hmm.
shining face.
All the
And then
time.
there's a whole life behind here. Like this mask
Mm-hmm.
is masking a whole lot of stuff that's
Mm-hmm.
going on back here in our feelings and our struggles
That's
and
right.
how we got here. And
Mm-hmm.
so faith, failure, success does absolutely shed some light on how we got here. So I want to know, what's your drink? What are you drinking tonight?
So I have a new uh favorite. I was gonna
Oh,
say the word addiction. I'm like, that doesn't go well with alcohol. Don't say that word.
it
Uh
doesn't.
like, because it's not, but it's a new thing. So I went to a restaurant once, and I'm not a beer drinker at all. Like, to me, beer tastes like what gasoline smells like. It's a weird thing my brain does when I see beer. Uh, I don't know. Maybe it's the phone. I don't know, but I can't do it. But I
Okay.
had the waitress recommended this pineapple cider. So if a lot of people know Angry Orchard, and it's like an
Yeah.
apple flavor cider. Well,
Uh-huh.
honey, they have a pineapple one. So I ended up
Okay.
having it, and now I'm like hooked. So this tonight I'm drinking Mackenzie's I don't know if you can see it. Mackenzie's pineapple hard cider.
And
It's
it's, you say it's by Angry Orchard or no?
no, this one's not. This is
Okay.
Mackenzie's. I
Mackenzie.
got this at a
Okay.
local. When you go to like those little mom and pop grocery stores, they have their
Yeah.
own brands. So I tried. When I tell you, look, I got it in a pretty glass and everything.
I see.
It is so good because it is like, it's light, but it also does what it needs to do, So
Yes. So
so
earlier today, speaking, and there's so many things. Like I wasn't a beer drinker, but in '05 when I opened my wine shops, I had a huge beer cave. So I
mhm,
said, somebody better learn something about what's in there, right? And
right.
so I started learning. So just today, I had a cider, because ciders are
Mhm,
huge now.
mhm,
And so we're
mhm.
going into this holiday season. And
That's
so
right.
I had a gingerbread cider earlier. And so
Ooh,
it was really good. You could taste the
they're
apple, the gingerbread.
amazing.
It was light, but it was
Mhm.
so for the season. And
Yes,
so
and
yeah.
you have to try pomegranate. They have a pomegranate
Okay.
one too. There's a place here called Hooligans that has a pomegranate and something
When
else
you
in the
say
flavor.
here, where are you?
Oh, Daytona Beach, Florida. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry. Yes. So
Okay.
it's really good. So ciders are my new thing. I used to be the wine girl. I would try. Then I went through my bourbon stage where every time I went out, I had, a old fashioned or whatever. But now it's definitely cider. Even in Florida, it's cider season.
Okay. Well, I'm still a wine girl and a bourbon girl, but
Yeah. Oh,
wherever I
don't get it
am,
twisted. Me too.
yes,
Just
I fall in. Wherever I am, I fall into what we do. What we doing, that's what I'm
let's go.
doing.
I'm just I
So I
just
got
I
that.
just consider this expanding my palate. That's all.
So you've been with us before, so I
Yes.
need to remind our viewers, Faith, Failure, Success, I Am, I Can, I Will, isn't your first
No.
foray into the author space. So tell us about what you did prior.
Well, my other children that I'm so proud of is Lessons for the Little Girl One. Oh, here, look, I have my children here. I have Lessons for the
Let us
Little
see
Girl
those pictures of
One.
those babies.
This one. This is my first. This is my oldest. Lessons for Little Girl. This book literally is an insight to my journal. This was literally I was journaling, and at the end of this one particular entry, I was like, this would be a really good book, and not because I thought it was so powerful, but I believe deeply. I am a self-reflection enthusiast, so I get really excited about self-reflection, and I do it frequent and often, and I encourage it because I think it helps you do a better projection of yourself to the world, the more self-reflection that you do. And so
Hmm.
this book literally takes women 11 through 111 through the journey of self-reflection of just I ask some questions and I share a story of my childhood, and then I allow women that opportunity. The second book that I wrote was Lessons for Little Girl 2, Capturing the Essence of Being a Woman. And this was my getting grown book,
Yeah.
where the lessons were not soft and sweet. They're a little bit meatier. I think one of my favorite chapters in this book is the power of correction. And it talks about not somebody else telling you wrong or that you need to do better, but it's you telling yourself you need to do better. And so it's really just going to that next level of womanhood and just capturing that. My third book had to do something for the fellas, and this is Lessons for the Little Boy. This is
Yeah.
another compilation book that I love. I love all my children, but this one just has a special place in my heart. It took 6 years to write this book, and some of our favorites are in here. Our brother Lionel Hilaire, that is in Faith, Failure, Success, was a part of this book. Glenn Murray, who we all know and love, publisher of 220. My uncle wrote in this book, who played in the NFL and now is a successful business owner. But literally people from 23 to 63 wrote in this book, and they just share their journey of manhood. And then the book that my publishing company calls the one I cheated on them with is The Sisterhood. It's a compilation of 18 women and their journey to sisterhood. To entrepreneurship. And it's absolutely an amazing book. Shout out to Erica Perry Green and She Wrote Publishing, and just this great work. I was honored to be asked to be a part of the book, and just the stories that these women share, much like Faith, Failure, Success. I am constantly in awe of the things that people are living through and what they get through. Like, I think I've been through some stuff, but
Yeah.
after being a part of these compilation books, I recognize that there are people around me. There are literally warriors around me every day. And so I'm just grateful to be able to write and to be able to share these stories with the world. So
Yes, and I share your gratitude.
yes, thank
Folks
you.
are doing amazing things, and I am just honored to know them, to know you, and just grateful that you took the time to be on our show.
Always a
So
pleasure.
I,
It's one of my favorite shows. You know that. So anytime Benita
yes,
calling, I'm like, yes. What? Let me write a book just so I could be on Benita's show.
I'm gonna hold you to it because I want the sisterhood book. We're gonna talk
Okay.
about that for the after our
I'll
holiday break.
send you
We
this
want
one.
Yes, we want you back. I'll hit you up. I know your number, email. I got
Yeah,
you.
you got my stuff.
So I know that I want our viewers to pick up a copy of
Yes,
Faith, Failure, Success, I Am, I Can, I Will at
yes,
Amazon.com. You can get it. It debuted maybe a couple weeks ago by the time
yes,
this show airs.
yes.
It
On Cyber
debuted.
Monday.
Yes, it's doing extremely well, and we want you to add to the craze. So
And I
please
want
go
to
to
add this to
Amazon.
the show. I want to add this. If they
Okay.
go to 220books.com right now
Uh-huh.
and purchase it, um, for December, 220 Publishing is doing Operation Give Back. And so any book bought, Faith, Failure, Success included, purchased from 220 Books, is the proceeds will be going to Veterans Village. So we are partnering with this organization to support our military members and their families, which I think is a great thing during the holiday season. So
that is amazing. So
yeah.
please go to 220books.com and purchase this book, and they have many others that you can choose. So not just choose this book, but choose this one and some more.
And
so
something else,
you.
right? One for you and one for somebody else.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Jamie, for being a part of Books and Bottles. We love you.
Love you. Thank you.
And I'm
Always
going
a
to
pleasure.
see you again soon.
Cheers.
So for others who are watching the show, if you're an author and you'd like to be a part of Books and Bottles, please email us at info@grosepod.com. We love to have you as a part of our Books and Bottles family. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. And we hope to see you next week on Books and Bottles. Cheers.
Cheers.
Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now